The episode begins with a girl getting up from her bed and putting her clothes back on. The boy with her also wakes up. As he looks at the girl leaving, he thinks, I just lost my virginity. Some time later, we see the boy again, this time going to meet his close friend. As soon as his friend opens the gate, he hugs him tightly and teases him, saying weird things like, this softness feels so good. It's completely different from a girl's softness. Then he tells his friend everything that happened. His friend asks, but didn't you have a crush? Then how did this happen? Natsuo replies, I don't know, somehow it just happened. His friend gets angry and grabs him. Natsuo explains that 2 days ago, he was invited to a mixer. We then see a flashback. Natsuo is sitting with his friends, listening to them gossip more than actually talk. Their teacher, Hina, arrives and tells them to stop spreading useless rumors. Before leaving, she warns Natsuo, Fujikan, don't get spoiled hanging around with these guys. After she leaves, Natsuo's friends start talking about how awesome Hina is. But there was nothing they could do, since Hina had no interest in young boys. Some time later, they all arrive at the mixer. Natsuo's friends begin flirting and showing off. The girls present introduce themselves one by one. But one girl clearly had no mood for it. She plainly says, my name is Tachibana Rue. A little later, we see Rue outside, getting a glass of juice. Natsuo approaches her and asks, aren't you enjoying yourself? They start talking a bit. Natsuo tells her about how a friend once tried to change him. Then when Natsuo looks closely at Rue's face, he notices she looks very similar to Hina-sensei. Afterwards, the two of them leave the place together. As they walk outside, Rue asks Natsuo for a favor. The next scene shows Rue taking Natsuo to her house. No one else was home. She takes him to her room, sits on the bed, and says, will you do it with me? Natsuo doesn't understand why she chose him out of all the guys. Rue explains.
I just want the experience.
And I could tell you don't have any either. I didn't want an experienced guy taking advantage of me, that's why I chose you. At first, Natsuo hesitates and thinks about it. But soon, the two start being intimate. The scene cuts back to the present, Natsuo telling his friend this whole story. Now, Natsuo regrets his actions. Despite having feelings for someone else, he ended up doing such a thing with a stranger, which felt wrong to him. But his friend says, honestly, I think it's good this happened. Your true love was never going to be yours anyway. In the next scene, we see Natsuo sitting on the school rooftop. Hina comes to him and says, oh look, Fuji-san is hard at work. She asks him to show what he's writing.
Natsuo refuse.
Hina replies, I should have just read it back then, a year ago, when we first met here on the rooftop. Natsuo had asked Hina why she always looked down whenever she was on the roof. He even told her, if you want, you can share your troubles with me. But Hina brushed it off, saying, you flirt well, but I'm not interested in kids. Still, if it were a proper man, then maybe. She left jokingly, winning his heart again, but also leaving him lost in unnecessary thoughts. The next day, we see Natsuo with his friends again. During lunch break, he runs up to the rooftop. When he opens the door, he sees Hina again. He approaches her and calls out. He notices Hina is crying. She quickly makes an excuse, oh it's just, the drama I watched yesterday was so emotional. But Natsuo could clearly tell from her bad acting that she was lying. He tells her, Sensei, if these things trouble you so much, you can share the pain with me. But Hina refuses politely, saying, Fujikan, you're a really good boy. But adults have their own problems. Natsuo gets upset that she still treats him like a child. Why do you keep hiding behind excuses like this? I really can't stand seeing you like this. Because Before he can finish, Hina gets a phone call, cutting him off. Later that evening, Natsuo returns home. As he lies on his bed lost in thought, he remembers Hina, and then Rue. Suddenly, his dad opens the door and says, Natsuo, there's something I've been meaning to ask. I've been thinking about remarrying. Natsuo isn't very shocked. He agrees, saying, well, Mom's been gone for 10 years now anyway. But then his dad adds something that shakes him, actually, they're coming to meet us right now. The doorbell rings. His dad grabs Natsuo's hand and runs to the door with him. When the door opens, they see a woman standing there with her 2 daughters. Those daughters turn out to be none other than Hina-sensei, and Rue, the girl Natsuo had slept with. Natsuo is shocked, and Hina is equally stunned. Hina introduces him, saying, "This is actually my student." Natsuo can't handle the shock and faints. Some time later, everyone is sitting inside, talking. Hina says, "Who would have thought Natsuo would become my brother?" She introduces her younger sister, Rue. Natsuo reacts strangely, making Hina suspect they already knew each other. But Rue denies it. "No, this is the first time we've met." Their mother introduces herself as Tsukiko Tachibana. Natsuo introduces himself and immediately asks her, "What do you like about my dad?" She replies, "There are many things, but the most important is his honesty and kind heart. You may not know this, but my husband left me for another woman. Since then, I've been filled with hatred and anger. But then I met your father, and I knew he was the one for me." As she finishes her story, the two parents begin flirting. They all sit together for dinner. Natsuo discovers another side of Hina, that after work and bathing, she enjoys drinking. While drinking, she flirts with Natsuo, saying, "Natsuo, if you were a little older, we could drink together." Embarrassed, Natsuo goes to the bathroom. When he comes back, Rue confronts him, "So what are you going to do about their marriage?" "Because I want them to marry. I don't want my mom to always be sad. I won't let our one reckless mistake ruin her happiness. The rest is up to you." She leaves. Later, after the guests leave, Natsuo is helping his dad clean dishes. He says, "Dad, about your marriage, you can go ahead. But it would have been nice if you'd told me earlier. Still, I know you've been dealing with things alone for so long." His dad replies with another surprise, "That's good, son. Also, we're moving into a new house next week." Later, Natsuo tells his friend the whole story. His friend is shocked. His friend tells him, "Forget it, man. You have zero chance now. You were already unlikely to win Hino over, but now you've become part of her family, and worse, her brother." Soon after, Natsuo's new family begins moving into their new home. As Natsuo is unpacking, Hina happily comes to him, saying, "From now on, we'll be living together. I'm so excited to finally have a little brother. But first, I need to search your room." Of course, Natsuo doesn't want that. Hina teases him, "So from now on, you'll call me Hina-chan." Embarrassed, Natsuo tries saying it, but Hina laughs and says, "That was just a joke. You can't call me that." Leaving him flustered, she walks away. As Natsuo continues unpacking, Rue appears. Embarrassed, he turns his face away. Rue comes close and whispers in his ear, "Forget what happened before. Nothing ever happened between us. Got it? So stop acting weird around me." She walks away to her room. Later, the whole family is sitting together. Suddenly, Hina comes out wearing just a towel, forgetting she now has a new family. Realizing her mistake, she rushes back, changes, and returns. But even her clothes don't do much to calm Natsuo's heart. She starts drinking and turns on the TV. Natsuo also sits there, but his thoughts are elsewhere. Later that night, their parents wish Natsuo good night and head to their room. Natsuo notices Hina sleeping soundly on the sofa. He tries to wake her, worrying she'll catch a cold if she stays there. But she's in a deep sleep. Lost in thought, Natsuo leans closer, about to kiss her. But at that moment, Rue opens the door